Salam. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you join us from today. We are delighted to welcome you to our first internationally hosted MACFEST Festival, brought to you from Manchester and Baku. My name is Dolly Busby, and I'm a volunteer for MACFEST and a student at the University of Manchester alongside being an aspiring journalist. This is a momentous moment in MACFEST history, hosting from another country, and I would just like to say congratulations and a big thank you to the Baku team who helped put this event together. Here is a quick video which helps us to imagine what the event would have been like if we were all together in person. Thank you, Luke. Thank you for showing us that. Today we bring you an amazing feast celebrating Azerbaijan art, culture and heritage, which I very much look forward to. Before we begin, I'm proud to introduce you to the founder and executive producer of Muslim Arts and Culture Festival, MACFEST for short, Qaisra Shahraz, MBE. Qaisra is an internationally renowned novelist and award-winning peace and gender activist. Over to you, Qaisra.
Thank you, Dolly. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and assalamu alaikum wherever you are in the world. Greetings from Manchester and happy Easter Sunday to all of those of you who are celebrating Easter. Welcome to Muslim Arts and Culture Festival 2021. We are delighted to welcome you all to the launch of our very first MACFEST International Festival. A live festival all the way from Baku, Azerbaijan. A very warm welcome to our distinguished guests from Azerbaijan, UK, and the USA. We are honored that Professor Akbar has joined us from Washington to launch this festival. Professor Akbar Ahmed was our keynote speaker and kick-started our 2021 festival in January. A very warm welcome also to Jonathan Davidson, Birmingham Director of Literature and also a huge supporter of MACFEST, Mike Shaft, our Manchester broadcaster and also a huge supporter of MACFEST, and Sajjad Karim, a dear friend, and these are our distinguished guests from the UK. Similarly, a very warm welcome to all our distinguished guests from Baku. It's your day today. Many congratulations to you all on helping to produce this fantastic festival. We at MACFEST are thrilled to bring you this first MACFEST International Festival celebrating Azerbaijan's heritage. We promise you an enthralling and exceedingly enriching experience. The idea of MACFEST was born 4 years ago. From the very beginning, I envisaged Muslim Arts and Culture Festival as an international festival celebrating the amazing richness and the diversity of Islam and the Muslim world. I'm delighted and very proud that dream, that creative vision has come true. all thanks to Azerbaijan and the fantastic, fabulous team from Baku. I'm so grateful to them for producing this festival in partnership with us at MACFEST. In particular, I'm grateful to our dear friend Leyla Gasimova, who has helped to organize this festival with her amazing team of colleagues and specialists and professionals. Last year, I mentioned to Leyla that I wanted to host a live MACFEST festival in one country to showcase their art and culture heritage. And Leyla, being Leyla, instantly grabbed the opportunity. I have worked with her and knew of her excellent organizational and event management skills, and therefore was sure that she would deliver this festival for us. I'm impressed with her passion, her hard work, her enthusiasm, her commitment, and professionalism. I want to congratulate her, her teammate, Hokuma Mammadazada, and all the contributors who are listed in our program for their contributions, and thank them for their months of work that has gone into this festival, including all the filming all over Azerbaijan. MACFEST is into celebrating arts, Muslim heritage, connecting communities around the world. It is not a political platform. On the contrary, we are ardent to use our MACFEST platform to promote peace, harmony, locally, nationally, and internationally. Our mission from the outset is to spread sweetness through the art. As our slogan says very aptly, spread honey, not hate. We have hosted over 2 months of amazing events of various art forms. Today, we offer you a feast indeed, mashallah, an Azerbaijani mouth-watering feast. And of course, there's lots and lots of foods to make you salivate. Only problem is we can't reach it. We can't eat it sitting here in Manchester. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, we present to you, courtesy of our marvelous Azerbaijani partner team, Azerbaijan Festival 2021. Enjoy. Thank you, Dolly.
Thank you, Qaisra, and for everything you do for MACFEST and beyond. It's now a great honour for me to introduce you to our host for this wonderful event, Leyla Gasimova. Besides helping Qaisra organise this special day, Leyla is an alumni from the Manchester and Halmstead universities and degree qualified educational management and specialist in Nordic welfare, accordingly. She has great experience in conflict analysis, policy and strategic development, and conflict prevention in governmental, multilateral, or civil society organisations. Welcome to Leyla. I now hand over to you.
Thank you, Dolly. Honorable Qaisra Shahraz, Professor Akbar Ahmed, Jonathan Davidson, Cllr Kazimov, Mike Sharp, Sajjad Karim, Ravan Hassanov, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Greeting you from Azerbaijan, the land of fire. I'm today's project organizer and host from Azerbaijan, and I will be your moderator today. Firstly, I would like to welcome you all to this virtual cultural festival. It's a great honor for me to present my country. Today, we will try to show you the beauties of Azerbaijani culture. Grab your drinks, stay close to the screen, because we are taking you to an amazing cultural trip. Today, you will hear a presentation from 9 speakers on this occasion, and they will be video screenings. And now I am honored to give a floor to Professor Akbar Ahmed, anthropologist, poet, playwright, scholar of Islam, filmmaker, former ambassador. He has been recognized by BBC, the world's leading authority on contemporary Islam, and included in the list of 100 influential Muslims. He currently holds Ibn Khaldun Chair of Islamic Studies and Professor of International Relations at American University in Washington. Please, Professor Akbar.
Thank you so much, Leyla. I'd like to say greetings, peace, and good wishes from Washington, D.C. As you know, we are facing a pandemic like the rest of the world. But in the midst of this gloom, I want to share the image of Washington, which is covered with beautiful cherry blossoms, and it's a lovely blue sky. So we have to, as human beings, constantly look for hope and optimism. And what has impressed me so much about your festival, you and Qaisra at the other end, as it were, of the pole, the hope and optimism that you bring. In this gloomy scenario in the world, you're bringing us something that is light and sharing with us some of the fire that you talk of from Azerbaijan and Baku. For me, it's been a double honor. I was with you at the start of the festival, and now I'm with you at the end of the festival. And it's been an amazing journey. And as you know, people often say it is better to travel than to arrive. Because on this journey, we met some incredible people, artists, intellectuals, activists. I was delighted to see that my own daughter, Dr. Hoti, and I'm a big fan of her work, she was with you. But now that we are reaching the end of the journey appropriately with you in Baku, I want to just make one big point. I don't want to take too much time beyond my allotted time. And that is that this world is, we avoid politics, as you mentioned, but this world is dominated by some ideas. And those ideas are, to me, very dangerous in terms of pushing the world towards the brink. Ideas of the clash of civilizations, of conflict, of war and violence. And you're bringing through this festival, and when I say you, I mean Qaisra and her wonderful team at one end of this global map, if you like, and you're at the other end, the two poles, Qaisra and Leyla, and you're bringing some alternative ideas, whether you know it or not, to the clash of civilizations. You're bringing the idea of dialogue of civilizations, love between civilizations, compassion between civilizations, in a very viable and practical way, not just in some airy-fairy way in which we scholars often accused of. So I do want to congratulate you and pay you tribute, both you and Qaisra and your teams, your wonderful teams. I want to salute both of you. And in your honor, Leyla, and in Qaisra's honor, I have dedicated my poem, which I wrote about the Emperor Babur, who you know comes from Farghana, which is your neighbor, if you remember from your history. It is about Babur when he's a young boy. He's 12 years old, and I captured that moment. I thought to myself, he's barely in his teen years. His father has died. His uncles are grabbing his legacy, and he's so vulnerable. He's a little boy. He's only 12 years old. And yet he'll go on to found one of the greatest dynasties in the world, one of the great empires, the dynasty that ultimately will give us monuments like the Taj Mahal. So if you'll bear with me, Leyla, I'll very quickly read my poem. It's called Spring Thoughts in Farghana. The alfresco burial is done. The pipe and the kettle drum have sung the warrior to his sleep. The mourners wail their way back to the village. High above the mountains, which stretch like a young man's ambition in springtime, an iced drizzle starts to speak of a last snowfall to come. Soon the passes will be clear. The boy, not yet 12, gathers his father's breastplate, sword, and standard, his only legacy, to work his fabled visions of empire and adventure. A bitter wind squeezes his face tight, conquers a mood, but in his clear eyes are dreams of faraway kingdoms in Kabul. Leyla, that is dedicated to you and Qaisra. Wonderful congratulations, and thank you so much for giving me the honor of being part of your wonderful festival. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Akbar, for a wonderful speech. And now I am honored to give a floor to Cllr Gasimov, who is the representative of our main sponsor, the Fund for Support of Azerbaijani Diaspora, Cllr Gasimov, Senior Specialist. And now please welcome.
Don't forget to unmute yourself, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, organizers and participants, welcome to today's virtual event as we celebrate Azerbaijani Cultural Festival and highlight the importance of friendship of nations and cultures. My name is Cllr Gasimov. I'm representative Fund for Support to Azerbaijani Diaspora. We as an organization are very delighted to be a partner of this Azerbaijan Cultural Festival within MACFEST 2021. Because of coronavirus, unfortunately, we are unable to meet face-to-face. However, thanks to the internet, we can still meet online and spread positive news quickly to encourage each other. I am very glad to see many friends online who are from different parts of the world, in different time zones and diverse cultural backgrounds. Today, today's event serves as a good opportunity to discover our multicultural Azerbaijan, at the same time enhance mutual understanding among people, and set a great example of cultural diversity, of friendship and development. The values of cultural diversity in Azerbaijan consist of respect and friendship. Azerbaijan is a country of friendship, love, diversity, and tolerance. I don't want to take more time with my speech. I would like to invite everyone to enjoy this event. I wish everyone to have an enjoyable time today and many success ahead. Thank you so much for a speech today. Enjoy your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farid, for your tremendous support throughout this time. And now I'm pleased to give a floor to poet, writer, literature activist, Doctor of Birmingham Literature Festival, Director of Birmingham Literature Festival, Chief Executive, Writing West Midlands, Jonathan Davidson. Please, Davidson.
Thank you very much, Leyla, and welcome everybody. I'm sitting in Birmingham, England's first city, of course, and I'm delighted to help introduce this event at the Muslim Arts and Culture Festival. I'm personally very interested to find out more about Azerbaijani culture. For me, this festival is important mostly because I'm not a Muslim, so I need to find out more about the cultures that are embraced within that faith. I am curious about the wider world, and as I get older, I get more curious. I'm curious about history and about culture and about the beliefs of people. I know a little bit about Azerbaijan. I play chess, so I know that Azerbaijan is one of the great chess nations of the modern age. And I hear the food is very good, though of course, sadly, we'll be unable to be breaking bread, but even to look at other people eating is a good thing. And it might encourage us to take those recipes and make that food ourselves. But mostly I'm curious about people. Thanks to Wikipedia, I think I know a bit about Azerbaijan, but in many ways I know nothing. I know nothing until I hear and meet the people of this country, to hear what they've got to say about their culture, their experiences, their history, their art, and so on. That's why today is so important, as are all these occasions. And oddly enough, although we feel so frustrated by being made distant because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the fact that we can relatively easily come together in our own spaces from across the world makes this a wonderful opportunity. And in many ways, this has been the most enjoyable MACFEST I've experienced, because I have met and talked to more people from around the globe than I would have done, even had I spent many days in Manchester. So today is very important for Azerbaijan, and my congratulations to all of the team, to Shahraz, of course, and to the team in Baku who have helped make this possible. And thanks also to our previous speakers, particularly Professor Ahmed, for his wonderful introduction to the work that the festival is doing. I haven't used up all of my 5 minutes. It's never my policy to do that. I like to leave a bit of discreet silence for other people to fill with more worthy words. But I finish by saying congratulations to everybody. I very much look forward to this afternoon, and thank you very much for your time and kind attention.
Thank you, Davidson, for joining us from Birmingham, and I'm sure that you will know more about Azerbaijan after this event. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chief guest from Azerbaijan, Dr. Ravan Hassanov, Acting Executive Director of Baku International Center of Multiculturalism. Please, Hassan.
Thank you very much, dear Leyla. Distinguished dear ladies and gentlemen, I greet all of you. I would like to express my deep gratitude for organizers for giving me opportunity in this wonderful, amazing event. My name is Rabnawaz Akbar. I'm Executive Director of Baku International Multiculturalism Center. A little bit, I would like to introduce our center, what we are doing. Our center was established by the decree of Mr. President in 2014, and we are promoting the policy of multiculturalism in the world. We have 9 branches in different countries. We are teaching the model of Azerbaijani multiculturalism in 23 world universities and all universities in Azerbaijan. So we are working very tightly with youngs. And this organization is an international organization, an open organization, which very tightly also working with ethnic minorities who is living in Azerbaijan and religious communities, which is freely represented in our society. So with your permission, I want to use this valuable limited time to share my thoughts on the Azerbaijani model of multiculturalism. As you notice, I use the phrase Azerbaijani model of multiculturalism. Our foreign partners and friends who are experts in this area always ask me, what makes this model different? Or why do you consider the diversity existing in Azerbaijan to be a model? I would like to explain it. As you already know, today most countries in the world are ethnically and religiously diverse. The rare countries have a mono-ethnic or mono-confessional model of society. In our world, there are more than 2,000 peoples with different cultural, but only 200 independent countries. Similarly, more than 30 different nationalities live in Azerbaijan, and almost most of traditional and non-traditional religions are freely represented in our society. The question is, does the presence of such diversity mean that these states are also pursuing a policy of multiculturalism? The answer is no. Of course, the objective presence of cultural diversity is an important element of policy of multiculturalism, but this is not enough. For a long time, the diversity was governed by 2 political models, which today are incompatible with human rights. There are policies of isolation and assimilation of national minorities, but multiculturalism is a new political model based on humanistic and liberal values, which recognize the rights of every person to preserve and freely practice their cultural and belief within one state. Today, unfortunately, some developed countries also rejected the policy of multiculturalism, and but they are not giving us any alternative model. And this is very surprising for us also, because everybody hear me, Chris? Are you?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Yeah, it's actually a bit surprising to hear this because this country does not present an alternative model. Azerbaijan is one of the few countries that has turned this policy into an essential aspect of state policy after gaining independence. That is, the state and government are themselves interested in protecting cultural and religious diversity in Azerbaijan. They are not interested in gradual disappearance of any cultural, religion, or language that exists here. The state provides not only moral, but also material support for their preservation and personally finance a number of projects in this area. At the same time, the state personally conducts the construction and renovation of places of worship, be it churches, synagogues, or mosques. The state is a guarantor of both legislative and practical provision of freedom of religion. It's because of this policy that only one crime on ethnic or religious ground has been committed in Azerbaijan in the last 13 years. Multiculturalism is a lifestyle for the Azerbaijani people. For centuries, different nationalities have cohabited in this region, and there has never been a confrontation. There has always been a favorable socio-political environment in Azerbaijan for pursuing a new policy of multiculturalism, and discrimination has never been the case. Therefore, the head of state has repeatedly noted in this speech that for us, multiculturalism has no alternative. And the alternative of this policy is Islamophobia, xenophobia, or anti-Semitism. Azerbaijani policy of multiculturalism also is not a static policy. For us, the multiculturalism is not only a way for stability, but also for global security. Therefore, the policy of multiculturalism should, in turn, pave the way for intercultural and interfaith dialogue. In 2008, a platform named Baku Process was formed as the initiative of the President of Azerbaijan. The Baku Process brings together important international humanitarian platforms such as Baku International Humanitarian Forum, the World Forum of Intercultural Dialogue, the 7th Global Forum of UN Alliance of Civilizations, the Summit of World Religious Leaders, and etc. Now, every year, Baku holds meetings that discuss and make decisions on pressing humanitarian problems. Dialogue platforms are the key to regional and global peace. So all these events, all these global platforms, all this project with youth for promoting the multiculturalism is organized. One of the organizers of these projects is Baku International Multiculturalism Center. I hope that in the future, we can also tightly working with you, with your organizations, with NGOs in your countries. And I would like one more time to thank organizers for your attention and for giving me opportunity in this speech. I wish good luck this amazing festival, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Hassanov, for enlightening the meaning of multiculturalism in Azerbaijan. Now, I would like to have your attention to have a look at the video presentation, Azerbaijan, the Heart of Multiculturalism.
German Lutheran church built by Adolf Eichler in the center of Baku. The building ceremony was solemnly organized on 21st of March 1896 with the participation of the noble family. In the year of 1899, the construction came to an end. The consecration ceremony gathered over 1,000 people. On 23rd of April 1900, the church hosted its first organ concert. This grandiose Gothic-style building is now a concert hall where organ music ceremonies are held. The Alexander Nevsky Church in the second largest city of Azerbaijan, Ganja, built in 1887. During the Soviet times in 1931, the church was closed. In 1946, the building was reopened as a church. In the year of 1997, the 110th anniversary of the church was solemnly celebrated. Ashkenazi Jewish synagogue located in the center of Baku. In 1946, the building, a former depot of the civil defense of the corner of Karganov and Pervamaiskaya, now Rasul Riza and Dilara Aliyeva streets respectively, in a semi-basement place was allocated for the present synagogue. The building was repaired and re-equipped for the needs of the Jewish community of Baku. Means were collected because of voluntary donations made by both Jews and Muslims of the city. In 2002, an absolutely new building was built. The grand opening of a new shrine was held on March 9th, 2003. The Holy Virgin Mary Catholic Church, the cornerstone of the church, was blessed by Pope John Paul II during his visit to Baku in 2002. The building of the shrine, completed in 2006 by Italian-born architect Paolo Ruggiero, project in a new Gothic style. In 2007, the church was consecrated by Nuncio Claudio Gugerotti. Over the entrance of the church was set up the statue of the Virgin Mary, made by local sculptors. The church bells were a present from Lech Kaczynski, then President of Poland. The shrine has got 200 benches. Holy Myth Bearers of the Russian Orthodox Church is a Russian Orthodox cathedral in Baku. The church is dedicated to the Holy Myth Bearers, who are commemorated on the second Sunday after Pascha, Easter. The building was erected in 1909 through personal donations. In 1920, It was one of the first places of religious worship to be closed down as a result of Sovietization. It was used first as a warehouse and later as a gymnasium. In 1991, the building was returned to the Russian Orthodox Church. With the financial aid provided by the Azerbaijani-born Russian entrepreneur Aydin Gurbanov, the building was fully restored by 2000. On 27th of May 2001, Patriarch Alexius II elevated the church status to that of a cathedral. The Holy Myth-Bearers Cathedral holds onto a shrine with the relics of Saint Bartholomew the Apostle, who was crucified near the Maiden Tower in Baku. St. Gregory the Illuminator Church is the Armenian church in the center of Baku. The construction started in 1863 and in 1869 came to an end, led by Baltic German architect Karl Hippius. The leader of Azerbaijan, Nariman Narimanov, rescued the church from destruction during the first years of Soviet Union, but he could not prevent the closing of the shrine during the period that was proclaimed by communists as the time of the battle against the god. According to the decree of the Cabinet of Ministers of the Republic of Azerbaijan on 2nd of August 2001, the Armenian church was listed as an immovable historical and cultural monument of national importance. In 2002, the church was transferred to the Presidential Library. Haydar Mosque is a Muslim shrine in Baku named after Haydar Aliyev, the former president of Azerbaijan. The construction of the mosque was going on from 2012 to 2014. On 26th of December, grand opening ceremony was held. The mosque covers a total area of 12,000 square meters. The internal area of the mosque covers 4,000 square meters. The facade of the mosque decorated with special stones based on Shirvan Afshiran architectural style. It has 4 95 meters height minarets, also 55 meters height main and 35 meters height second domes. Tazapir is a mosque in Baku. Construction of the shrine started in 1905 and in 1914 came to an end. The sanctuary was built by the initiative and on donations of Azerbaijani female philanthropist Nabat Khanum Ashurbeyli. The works were led by prominent Azerbaijani architect Zivarbey Ahmadbeyov, but only 3 years after the opening, the sanctuary was closed after October Revolution in 1917. Over the years, the mosque functioned as a cinema and a barn. Since 1943 to present day as a mosque, the capacity of prayers is 720 people at the same time. The mosque has got 2 minarets.
Without further ado, I would like to welcome Sajjad Karim, politician, former member of European Parliament, chair EU-Azerbaijan Parliamentary Cooperation Committee, and I'm pleased to have once again Sajjad on a panel dedicated to Azerbaijan. Please, Sajjad.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. Well, thank you, Leyla, for the very kind invitation to join with you all today. And thank you, Qaisra and MACFEST for partnering with Leyla and her team in bringing about this occasion and opportunity for dialogue. MACFEST, of course, has its origins in Manchester, which is the heart of what used to be my constituency when I was a member of the European Parliament. And if I remember correctly, Qaisra, I attended the very first launch event some years ago. Yes, and it's always been an absolute delight to be associated with MACFEST and watching its progress. Just before I make some remarks, may I just wish all those that are marking the occasion of Easter Sunday today wish them well on all our behalf, and in particular, all of our Christian brothers and sisters, wherever in the world they may be. And just having seen this video presentation, I got to know Azerbaijan, I thought, really quite well over a period of about 5 years in my role as chairman of the European Parliament's South Caucasus delegation. But having just seen this film, it's quite clear to me there is so much more yet that all of us have to discover about Baku and Azerbaijan. And earlier by Ravan Hasanov, talking about the issue of rejection of multiculturalism and how no alternatives are being provided by those countries that are taking that path. But unfortunately, the alternatives that are being put forward are based upon identity politics and culture wars, which very much goes against the grain of what we are all trying to achieve here. And this brings me on quite nicely, I believe, to some of the experience that I had about Azerbaijan. And I came to Azerbaijan literally as a blank sheet without having had any previous interaction with it. And some of the things that became quite clear to me was in particular about the multicultural and inclusive nature of the society. And this wasn't something that was developed through the passing of legislation and literally having to force this onto sections of society. It was cultural, it was inbuilt, it was historically constructed in a very positive manner, where all sections of society genuinely had a place in the greater puzzle of what makes Azerbaijan. And I'll just try and illustrate it to you. And when I was watching the film, I was reminded of occasions I had had to visit some of those buildings. And obviously, when one is chair of a European Parliamentary Committee and you visit a country, most of the program is arranged directly through the services on both sides. And sometimes it's very difficult to gauge whether one has gained a much wider understanding about the ground realities, as opposed to just seeing what has been set in programs and pre-arranged. And so on one occasion, after actually a very proactive officer within the EU mission in Baku, she had led a religious-based delegation to the European Union, and I had met with them in the European Parliament, and it had been constituted of a variety of the religious practices that and religions and religious leaders that exist in Azerbaijan. And I was genuinely very impressed by so much of what they said, so that I asked the European Union's mission on the ground in Baku to arrange for me to come entirely on my own, not as part of a delegation, but as an individual, to come and meet with the communities on the ground. So this took place without any involvement of the Azerbaijan authorities, or indeed the EU authorities in any official capacity at all. And so when I arrived, I went to the synagogue that you have just seen in that film. And I was greeted and welcomed there by the president of the Mountain Jews, but there are also Ashkenazi Jews and Georgian Jews present in Azerbaijan. Now, the thing that really struck me when I arrived at this synagogue is not something that has been touched upon at all. But I was used to visiting synagogues in the United Kingdom, around the European Union. And whenever I would arrive at a synagogue, there would be considerable security arrangements in place, even to the extent that I've seen armed guards having to patrol and protect synagogues. I have seen the erection of barricades outside for fear of people driving with vehicles into synagogues. And when I arrived at this particular synagogue in Baku, there was no security or security arrangements of any sort whatsoever. The front doors were completely wide open, and the only people present inside were some worshippers and the president. And this really struck me because I knew what the situation in North America was. Just literally, I think a matter of weeks before I had traveled, there had been an attack in Brussels where somebody in a car had driven into Jewish worshippers outside a synagogue, right in the heart of Brussels. And I know the situation as it is in my own part of the world, in Manchester. I know the situation in London, Birmingham, a variety of other places, and indeed right across the European Union, including cities like Paris that have such a rich Jewish cultural, religious history. And this was something that absolutely struck me. Now, I then went on to visit the Church of Michael the Archangel, which is a Russian Orthodox church in the heart of Baku. Once again, the exact same situation there. One thing that actually became quite clear to me in all of the conversations I had over that 5-year period with minority religious communities, I always used to take the time to try and probe to see exactly what their condition and position was within society. But one thing was clear to me about Azerbaijan, and actually this did take me by surprise, I have to confess. Whilst they did speak about challenges, all of the challenges that every other person from Azerbaijan, there was nothing in particular about their religious identity or indeed the practice of their religion that was causing them concern. And these were very open conversations that they were having and able to have in a variety of different formats and forms. And whilst they would speak very openly about many other challenges, they would make it absolutely clear that their ability to practice their religion, their safety, their security was not compromised at all, but in fact, actually, their existence was very much weaved into Azerbaijan as a society, weaved in politically through making sure that they had input in political decisions, weaved into the legal processes, weaved culturally and socially through the arts, in the media, a variety of other ways. They were a complete part of the fabric of Azerbaijan. And I make these points because actually, speaking as a European, as a Brit, I think there is actually much that we can learn today from societies like Azerbaijan. They, of course, have their shortcomings. I am only too aware of the very, very many areas for real improvement that exist. But in this particular instance, on this particular point, I believe there is much we can learn. And I just would like to finish by echoing Professor Ahmed's comments about the very real need today for dialogue, for the ability for us once again to try and actually understand the other's context and perspective and point of view. I know I've overstepped my mark and gone over my time limit now, and so I will hand back to Leyla in Baku. Thank you all for your time and for listening to me.
Thank you, Sajjad, for sharing your thoughts about Azerbaijan. It's so nice to hear. And now the video presentation, The Religious Diversity Through the Contemporary Art, paintings have been created by Farid Mirzoyev.
The Agda Mosque was built by the architect Karbalayi Safi Khan Karabaghi from 1868 to 1870. The mosque was built in the typical style for mosques in the Karabakh region, which included the division of stone columns on the two-story gallery and the use of domed ceilings. Other mosques in this style include Barda Mosque, the Yukhari Kafhar Aga Mosque in Shusha, a mosque in Fizili, and one in the village of Goradis. Askeran Fortress is located in the town of Askeran on the bank of Gargar River. The fortress was built in 1751 by Panah Ali Khan, who was the ruler of Karabakh Khanate. The Khan erected the structure on the eastern part of his kingdom. The purpose was to protect his lands from the invasions from the east. It's situated 24 kilometers away from Shusha, 5 kilometers away from the city of Khojali, 12 kilometers to the south from Agdam. Sheikh Babi Yaqub is a mausoleum in Babi village in the Fizili district of Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. The mausoleum was built in 1272. Sheikh Babi Yaqub was buried here. Architect Ali Majidaddin. The mausoleum that's commonly known as Sheikh Baba was built in the cemetery that's in the village of Babi, Fizili district. Sheikh Babi Yaqub allegedly was tied with Ismailites. During ancient times, lots of people from Near East used to come here for pilgrimage. Khudafarin are two arched bridges located in Jabrail region of Azerbaijan, directly near the border with neighboring Iran. The bridges were built on the river of Aras in 11th, 12th and 13th centuries respectively. In general, the foundation of the bridges, located on an old famous Silk Road, was laid during the reign of Fazl ibn Muhammad, the ruler from the local Azerbaijani dynasty of Shaddadids, in the year of 1027. The oldest bridge is partly destroyed, only 3 spans of it remain. What about the second one? It's preserved much more better. Russian Orthodox Church of St. Johann was built in the city of Shusha in 1847. The purpose of construction of the Orthodox Church was to build a temple where Russian soldiers would have chance to pray. A very important fact that has to be emphasized is that the Russian Orthodox Church was built predominantly on the voluntary donations of Shusha Muslims. Khudavang Temple, located on the territory of the Kalbajar region of Azerbaijan. This grandiose temple was erected by the medieval rulers of Caucasian Albania, beginning from 6th-7th centuries. The meaning of Khudavang is located on a hill. Khudavang was the religious center of the Albanian Principality of Lachin. The monastery complex was repeatedly repaired and restored when finally in the 13th century, the ruler of Lachin, Hassan Jalal, thoroughly repaired it. As for the architecture of the temple complex, the main buildings are crowned with domes. The wood was widely used in the construction of buildings as the main material. The walls of the temple complex were once decorated with numerous frescoes and inscriptions made with oil paints. Agoglan is a 5th to 6th century antique Albanian church and former monastery in Lachin district of the Republic of Azerbaijan. What about the etymology of the name of the church? Agoglan is believed to be related to the river passing nearby, which possesses the same name. According to the legend, monastery was built in 5th-6th centuries on the site of previous pagan temple. According to the beliefs of the people of Azerbaijan, the Agoglan monastery is the burial place of Saint George. The Uch Körpe monastery is located on the territory of the Tepekand village of the Terter region of Azerbaijan. According to historical sources, the monastery was built by the Azerbaijani architect Cherkes under the Albanian Catholicos Simeon VI His brother Akhimandred Ignat, with the financial support of Azerbaijani Christians and Muslims, with the direct support of the Azerbaijani ruler Suleiman from the Safavid dynasty. The monastery was built in the 17th century. Ganjasar Monastery is situated on the left bank of Hachinchai River in the village Vangli of Kalbajar region of Azerbaijan. The shrine was built in 13th century. In medieval times, the temple was the center of Albanian Apostle Church. The shrine was included in the register of the monuments of world importance by the Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Ganjasar was built on the site of much more ancient temple by the order of Kachin ruler Hassan Jalal. The building process of the church started in 1216 and finished in 1238. On July 22, 1240, the official ceremony of dedication to Saint John the Baptizer was held with the participation of Albanian Catholicos Nerses II. The meaning of the word Ganjasar is the treasury on the hill. Apostle Yagisha is one of the oldest monasteries of Azerbaijan. It's located in the Agdara district of Nagorno-Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, near the village of Sugovushan, on the slope of Muravdagh mountain. In ancient times, on the site of the monastery, there was a pagan shrine. After the adoption of Christianity, the shrine was reconstructed by local authorities and became Christian. According to the Albanian historian Musa Galakantli, in the 5th century, the Albanian king Vachagan the Pious, at the burial site of the relics of Saint Yagisha, erected a memorial pillar chapel where he was buried after his death. The monastic complex of Apostle Yagisha is formed by churches, chapels, and a number of residential buildings and utility buildings, now destroyed. The main church of the monastery, which is vaulted hall, was built in the 12th, 13th centuries.
Thank you, Farid Mirzoyev, for such an amazing artwork. Now I want to welcome famous broadcaster Mike Shaft, who has spent over 40 years of his life in British broadcasting. During his career, Shaft has presented programs for Piccadilly Radio, Jazz FM, BBC Radio Manchester. Please, Mr. Shaft.
Mike, please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Leyla, thank you very much indeed. And can I say what a pleasure it is to be here. I remember Qaisra coming into BBC Radio Manchester a number of years ago when she was in the planning stages for the very first of these MACFESTs, based in Macclesfield, which is in an area to the south, I think it is, of Manchester. Not a big area, but fairly affluent. And I couldn't understand why she was basing it there when one would look to maybe base it in one of the big cities. But it was the perfect place to start, and it has grown so much over the years. It has been a joy to see. Qaisra always invited me to be a part of it. I've never been able to do it before this year. For all the years that she's asked, I've either been busy doing something else or whatever else. This year, I looked in the diary for the date and I was able to do it. And I took part in a photography discussion, which I widened out to include film as well. Thoroughly enjoyed it, looked back at some of it and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think what this festival is doing, and it's obvious when you see the quality and the caliber of people who've spoken before me. I don't put myself in the same area as those guys, by the way. You know, Sajed, amazing presentation. Akbar, Professor Akbar, absolutely brilliant. I've made a note of those guys' name because I want them on my show on BBC Radio Manchester. We'll see if we can make that happen. But what it's doing is bringing countries and societies together. It's been fascinating looking at the messages coming in, and there's a message on there, for instance, from Jakarta in Indonesia and loads of other places as well. And it's just a joy to see people coming together for an event like this. I'm delighted to see, I must admit, by the way, I didn't know much about Azerbaijan at all. I went and had a look at a map to see where it was, noticed it was close to Turkey with Armenia dividing them. I hope I've got that right. I've been to Turkey. It's one of the main places we used to go on holiday in the days when we could go on holiday. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but I haven't been anywhere near Baku. I hear a lot about it. It's a bit of a happening city, and maybe we'll look at going there, my wife and I, in the not too distant future. The joy that I see here today, the things I'm learning, because this is why I wanted to be on this one, is looking at what's going on elsewhere. I want to say to Ravan, I think he may well have left us now, but I'm sure he'll get to see this, that his presentation was spectacular. And Ravan, if I can give you one word of advice, please export your successful multiculturalism, because the rest of the world needs to learn from people like you and what's going on in that country.
I promise. Thank you very much.
Please export it so that just that presentation, if enough of the right people saw it, it would be wonderful. Because I don't have to tell you about the problems going on in countries all over the world with not accepting multiculturalism. So I don't know what it is, how you've done it, but please write the book and send it out to everybody who needs to see it. I'm not going to take any more of a time because I know we're running late. I just want to congratulate Qaisra and both teams on doing this. Qaisra for the vision she had all those years ago to make something like this happen. And here we are. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we're not able to meet in a single room somewhere. But to be honest, I think that has helped this event by bringing people together from way further apart than may have happened if we were meeting in Manchester or in Baku or wherever else. We've been able to come together and, in my opinion, have a very successful event. So congratulations, Qaisra. Congratulations, Leyla, as well, for your involvement in putting this together. And thank you to all the presenters we've had so far. It's been an absolute joy.
Thank you, Mike, for your wonderful thoughts. Now, I would like to give a floor to historian Kerim Sultanov. Please welcome him.
First of all, let me welcome you and express my gratitude for giving me the chance to address this respected audience as you are. My name is Kerim Sultanov. I'm a historian, and today I'm going to give you some brief but still inaccurate information about the history of Azerbaijan's transformation from Christianity into Islam. Actually, from the very beginning, I have to stress that during early medieval times, there were three main religions in Azerbaijan, in our country. I do mean worshipping of heavenly bodies and natural phenomena, including also Christianity and Zoroastrianism. What about Zoroastrianism? It's considered one of the ancient religions of our country, and this religion is connected with fire worshipping. And there was the Prophet Zoroaster, who also wrote the book Avesta by name. And there in his holy book, he claims that he got a revelation from the supreme god of wisdom, Ahura Mazda. But at the same time, I have to stress that the main transformation of Azerbaijan in the history of our country laid ahead. I do mean the adoption of Islamic religion, Islamic faith. For example, in 7th, 8th centuries, Azerbaijan was ruled by its local feudal barons rather than by its nominal king. and the country was subdivided into various feudal states and clans, and there was a deep and profound hostilities among and between them and among them. And during all this time, during this period, when pagans pillaged Europe, nomads congregation, East met West and North met South, a new force was gaining momentum. I do mean Arabic Caliphate, the force that previously had been, they previously were various clans, but under Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they were united in a one cohesive power, and then the Arabic conquests began. And this was a very difficult period, a very difficult time. And in 640s, Arabic invasion of Azerbaijan started, and gradually the local population, the population of Azerbaijan started to understand, to realize this religion, and people realized that Islam teaches peace instead of war, and good habits instead of evil, piety instead of evil. And in 7th, 8th centuries, the local population had already adopted Islam, the most, I do mean the most part of our population. But a very dangerous and a very serious problem was approaching. I do mean the rebellion of Babek, and it took place in 816 when he organized a rebellion. And when he was 18 years old boy, he led a war, waged a war against Arabs. But during 20 years, his rebellion went on. He defeated 6 large-scale armies of Arabian Caliphate. And from the very beginning, Arabian Caliph, his name was Mu'tasim, and he was the brother of Caliph Ma'mun. Both of them, they were the sons of Harun al-Rashid. And he underestimated his desire to wage a war against Caliphate and lead all those rebels. And that's why this was the main political miscalculation during his political career. But at the end, he realized his mistake, and he appointed Haydar ibn Kavus by the title of Afshin as the leader of all armies fighting against Babek, and he envoyed him here. Afshin arrived here. It was a very, despite the summer heat, Afshin advanced relentlessly, and he arrived here. And afterwards, he became onto the leadership of all armies fighting against Babek. And at the end, that happened in 837, Babek was treacherously captured by, deployed to Arabs. He sent into the city of Samarra in today's Iraq, next to Baghdad. There he at last was executed. Despite all this process, Arabian Caliphate also did not win the single battle with immortality. It also collapsed, but Caliphate left us a sacred religion, Islam, that now have already inherited and embraced approximately and even more than 1 billion population around the world. Once more, let me express my gratitude to all of you. Thank you so much. I was very glad to enjoy our today's conference, and thank you so much for this great event. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Karim, for such informative background about history. Now, a video presentation about Karabakh horses.
Since ancient times, the Azerbaijani people have dealt with breeding horses. The most famous national breed is the Karabakh horse. Even though the birthplace of these horses is Karabakh, this breed is found throughout Azerbaijan. The Karabakh horse is a symbol of the country's national heritage. Modern Karabakh horses are medium-sized animals, about 144 to 154 centimeters high at the withers, with a neck of a medium length, a small head, a deep and wide chest, and well-developed muscles. Horses of this breed are distinguished by clear and fast movements, harmonious physique. Precisely because of this, in folklore, the horses of the Karabakh breed were often compared to gazelles. Karabakh horses have a beautiful color. The color of the Karabakh breed can be red, buckthorn, brown, bay, gray, or golden red, which is also called the golden glow. Today, there are two subtypes in the breed: long-legged, fast horses with a lightweight body, and short-legged, dense and massive. The horses of the Karabakh breed have a dry constitution. Their legs are perfectly dry, even after working on the heaviest soil. Very strong hooves, fast recovery after heavy loads, the ability to easily overcome a distance of several hundred kilometers, good fatness at a very meager diet. This is not a complete list of the advantages of this unique breed. Add to this the unpretentiousness of the content and excellent health, cheerful, lively disposition, and curiosity. Karabakh racers are calm and friendly animals. Historically, a distinctive feature of the Karabakh horses was the ability to overcome mountainous and rugged terrain. Today, Karabakh horses are mainly used for racing. Horses are known for their exceptional speed. So, in 2004, a horse from the Agdam region set a world record running 1,000 meters in 1 minute and 9 seconds. There are many historical facts about the beauty of the Karabakh horse breed that has reached our times. But in fairness, we must find the courage in ourselves and say that nothing is left from that beauty. According to Arabic sources from the 12th century, Ibn Hogal claims, Azerbaijani horses were famous and there was a strong demand for them throughout Persia, Iraq and Syria. Those horses were also exported to India and Egypt. There are many definitions dedicated to Azerbaijani horses in the works of medieval Azerbaijani poets and writers, as well as in folklore. Those works contain lots of information about the beauty and strengths of Azerbaijani horses and the riding skills of Azerbaijanis. Historical materials show that in ancient times, when there was no good horse breed among the East population, Azerbaijan was known for its high-quality breeds, which are called Cllr. Their fame spread far beyond its borders. The Karabakh breed is very old and very stable, and it strongly conveys the characteristic of its breed to its offspring. The core of the breed was maintained by the Karabakh Khans after the annexation of Karabakh to Russia. The fact that the British bought about 60 mares from Mehdi Kulihan in 1823 speaks about the qualities of the then Kghlan. Great damage to horse breeding of Karabakh was caused by the invasion of the Persian in 1826, but in the following decades, the Karabakh horse retained its qualities.
In the modern world, despite the progress in science and technology, horses still remain faithful friends and companions of human beings. That's all more true about the Karabakh horses, which has been originated from the Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. Despite the difficulties, the wealth of Karabakh horse breed is preserved and today is supported by horse breeders of Azerbaijan. Now I want to give a floor to Yashar Guluzade, who made a tremendous commitment to this field.
Salam, ben hamını salamlayıram. Bugün sizlere Azerbaycan'ın atçılıq mədəniyyətindən qısa məlumat vereceğim. Biz Qarabağ atları deyəndə vətənlərində bu atlar əsl adları köklən sarılar kimi tanınırlar. Sözümü verirsən?
Our dear esteemed guest festival would like to welcome all our guests and partners, and he's going to give you information in our local Azeri language, and I will translate. He says that the horsing culture here in Azerbaijan, first of all, the name of the main type of horses are Köhlen Sarı or Köhlen Yellow. And the cultivating started here in our region of Karabakh.
Biz bu atların yaranışının arealını istəyərdim sizə deyim. Atlar Nisey düzündən yaranıblar. Nisey düzü qədim Azərbaycan ərazisində bərqərar olub. Azərbaycan hələ dünya tarixində Azərbaycan adıyla da məşhur deyildi. Və köhlən at insanın, bəni adamın ilk əli ilə seleksiya olunmuş mədəni bir at cinsidir. Və köhlən tək Oğuz türklərinin mədəniyyəti deyil, ümumiyyətlə bütün türk etnosunun və dünya mədəni atçılığının yaradıcısıdır.
Area of the cultivating and development of Köhlen yellow horses is so named Nisey Plain, and during historical times the name of our country was simply not Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan occupies a very big territory, including the territory southern of the river Araz also. Köhlen is the first selected type of horses, and it's developed not only in Oghuz Turks culture, but also occupying all Turkic tribes and nations.
Azərbaycanda atçılıq mədəniyyəti Qarabağ xanlıqlar dövründə də yüksək şəkildə inkişaf etmişdir. Bildiyimiz kimi Şuşa ərazisində, Şuşa qəzasında 100-dən artıq 17, 18-ci əsr, 19-cu əsrlərdə 100-dən artıq at zavodları, tövlələri olmuşlar. Bu atlar Azərbaycanın xanlıqlar dövründə bəylər tərəfindən və eləcə də Azərbaycanın insanları tərəfindən özünə məxsus şəkildə saxlanılıb və qulluq olunurdu.
The center of the development of this type of horses was so named Karabakh Khanat that emerged in 1747 after the death of the ruler of Nadir Shah Afshar. And in Shusha, in some in 17th, 18th centuries, there existed more than 100 horse factories where the cultivation of such kind of types of horses was going on.
Karabağ atlarının inkişafı 1949-cu ildən sonra Sovetlər Birliyinə təsadüf edir və Azərbaycan idmançıları, jokeyləri artıq ənənələrini, öz ənənələrini qoruyaraq və Sovet ipodromlarında, mühitində müxtəlif yarışlarda iştirak edirdilər. Bu da onu göstərir ki, Azərbaycanda atlarla atçılıq mədəniyyətini, Azərbaycan türkləri atçılıq mədəniyyətlərini qoruya bilmişdilər və beləliklə də öz bizim müasir dövrümüzə gətirib çatdırmışdılar. Çox sağ olun, minnətdaram.
I'll finish. Development of the further development of horse cultivating breeding took place in 1949 during Soviet era, during the existence of Soviet Union, and Karabakh jockeys and sportsmen, they developed and at the same time preserved this type of horses, taking part in various sporting events in hippodromes around the whole Soviet Union and also in the world, worldwide. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yashar Gulzadeh, for your speech. And now video presentation about the Azerbaijani national costume.
In Azerbaijan, as in the rest of the world, history and geography determine the form and color of clothes. Gulnara Khalilova's Karabakh clothing collection represents historic Azerbaijan. Traditional dresses, so colorful and diversified, truly represent the different regions of the historic Azerbaijan. The typical woman's traditional dress of Azerbaijan consists of under and outer garments and clothes for the upper and lower body, bag-shaped cover, veil, and shutter for the face, ruband were the important parts of the costume, which women wore while going out. One of the most common women's headwear was Kallaghay, a silk scarf protected them from both hot sun and cold wind, because silk is cool in summer and warm in winter. Since 2014, Kallaghay has been included into UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. Full of fascinating decorations, colors and designs, they truly reflected the artistic sense and the aesthetic taste of the nation. The details and colors in all outfits, whether for the rich and aristocratic or for simple country people, were chosen after careful consideration, and random elements were condemned. Buta ornament, famed in Eastern countries, is the Azerbaijani national ornament. Buta motif is often used by Azerbaijani masters. There are a lot of types of buta, and some of them have their own symbolic meaning. This ornament is widely used on carpets, textiles, and decoration of buildings in Azerbaijan still today. Buta is the symbol of Azerbaijan as well. Now you will not meet people dressing the national costumes. Azerbaijanis wore them about until the 20th century, and then only in some rural areas. However, today they are widely displayed in full rhythm in the folk dances and festive occasions of Azerbaijan. Despite in modern times, Azerbaijanis do not wear the traditional clothes in their daily lives. Nevertheless, the trend of that time have occupied the runways, and today both Eastern and European designers often use long skirts and wide pants peculiar to Azerbaijani national clothes. Noteworthy, even very famous Italian designer Renato Balestra created a unique collection specially for Azerbaijani shopaholics. National silhouettes and motifs began to appear more and more in the collections of national designers. Azerbaijan turned back to its beginnings, introducing the rich culture of Azerbaijani people to the world.
The traditional clothes always defines the essence of any nation's soul and mentality. Now I want to welcome Dr. Gulnara Khalilova, who is internationally recognized fashion designer. She serves head of Commission on Social Affairs of Association for the Development of Women's Entrepreneurship. She is head of Gulnara Khalilova's Fashion House and Azerbaijani National Clothing Center. Please welcome her.
Mən bütün festival iştirakçılarını salamlayıram.
Our dear guest welcomes all participants of our today's festival.
Ümumiyyətlə, festival başladığı gündən bu günə çox maraqlı mövzularla və çox maraqlı təqdimatlarla öz gündəmindədir.
From the very start of our current festival, it's famous for very interesting and important themes.
Və əlbəttə ki, indi baxdığınız Qarabağ geyimlərinə aid kolleksiyanın müəllifi mənəm və ümumiyyətlə dizayner fəaliyyətində həddən çox milli geyimlərimizə, onların müasir təqdimatında, sırf milli təqdimatında olan geyim kolleksiyalarım çox zəngindir.
I've got a very rich collection of national clothes and dressings, and the video clip that you have just watched. I am the very author of all types of clothing that you have already just seen there.
Və mən çox xoşbəxtəm ki, mən Azərbaycanıma hər zaman öz tarix
It looks like we might have...
I do present all this culture and our clothing culture is too rich, and I am the very man who presents all this worldwide to international world arena.
Düşünürəm ki, kolleksiyanı bəyəndiniz və hər zaman bu kolleksiyada bir-birinə rəngarəng olan geyimlər var. Bu kolleksiya məhz Qarabağ geyim, Azərbaycan Milli Geyim kolleksiyası adlanırdı və orada ipək sərvət kolleksiyasından nümunələr var idi, Turan kolleksiyasından nümunələr var idi və ipək sərvət kolleksiyamız da Azərbaycanın maddi gözəl bir örpəyi olan, baş örpəyi olan Kəlağaydan hazırlanmış üst geyimlərdən ibarət kolleksiyaydı ki, bu kolleksiyada məhz Kəlağayının UNESCO-nın maddi irsinə daxil olmasının 5 ili münasibətilə hazırlanmışdır.
That clip, that video was prepared and made for the 5th anniversary of including of Karabai. That is a national head cover in our culture, in our country, in the UNESCO's World Heritage List. And our collection is too rich and colorful. There are various types, including Karabai's head covers and other types of our national dressings. And there are predominantly main two types, Turan type and silk collection.
Mən bir daha uğurlar arzu edirəm və təşəkkürümü bildirirəm bu festivalın işinə və bu festivalın bugünkü fəaliyyətində bu işlə əziyyət çəkən, əziyyətə keçən bütün insanlara öz təşəkkürümü bildirirəm və sizlərlə sağollaşıram.
Once more, I'd like to wish a good luck and express my gratitude to all organizers of our today's very interesting conference meeting, and good luck to all of you, which is our dear Dr. Gulnara Khalilova. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Gulnara Khanım, for such an amazing closing presentation. Now with a presentation about historical heritage and modern architecture in Baku.
Nardaran Castle. Nardaran, one of the most picturesque and ancient villages of Absheron, is located about 30 kilometers from Baku. The Nardaran Castle is a construction consisting of a round tower and quadrangular tower walls. The height of the tower is 12 meters high. On the first floor of the tower, there is a deep well. It turns out that the fortress was built by the Kuraman mother in 700 AD. Nardaran Tower was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage Tentative List in need of urgent safeguarding. Ramana Castle. Ramana Castle is one of the Absheron monumental constructions. According to the calculations, there were more than 30 strongholds in Absheron Peninsula. The largest number of palaces on Absheron Peninsula was built in the villages in the North Sea shore. This is because the main danger comes from sea, and also because the stronghold towers received the dangerous signals from the northern Caspian shore defensive barriers, and could pass them to other towers on the peninsula. The dangerous signals were passing with the help of the fire at night and the smoke in the afternoons. So, the news about the threat spread all over the territory and population, and the army was ready to defend. Ramana Tower is a tower located in Ramana village of Baku. Tower height is 15 meters. Exact date of construction of the tower, which is built in white stone, is not known. It's believed that the tower was built with the purpose of defense and used as a castle during the reign of Shirvanshahs. Ramana Castle based on the rocks. This magnificent monument built on the tallest rock is seen in all surrounding villages. Baku's İçeri Şehir, literally inner city, often referred to by foreigners as the Old City, is a unique architectural preserve that differs considerably from the other ancient cities of Azerbaijan. Old City has many fascinating architectural monuments, including the Maiden's Tower and the Shirvanshah Palace. Maiden Tower. Maiden Tower, the distinguishable architectural landmark, is in Baku. Azerbaijanis are incredibly proud of this monument that's shrouded in mystery and legend, even though scholars and historians are unable to speak with absolute authority about its origins. Even the date of the construction of the tower's age has been estimated to range between 7th century BC to 12th century AD, a range of time separated by nearly 2 millennia. Heydar Aliyev Center, recognized as one of the world's masterpieces in architecture. The author of the building's design is a worldwide recognized architect and the winner of the prestigious Pritzker Architecture Prize, Zaha Hadid. The overall shape of the building resembles a wave-like ascension from the ground towards the sky, followed by gradual descent down to the earth. The building's dominant white color symbolizing the bright future. Baku Olympic Stadium is one of the first greatest constructions Baku visitors see when arriving in the capital. The stadium, constructed in an area of approximately 50 hectares with a height of 62 meters, consists of 6 floors.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our next honorable guest, Dr. Patrick Walsh, historian, author of books on South Caucasus. Please, Patrick.
Good morning here. Salam alaikum, everybody. I'm really honored to speak to you here from the north of Ireland. As your presenter said there, I'm a historian of the South Caucasus. I've written a number of books and I've a great interest in Azerbaijan. I've been to Baku and other parts of Azerbaijan, I think about 10 times. And what a wonderful, amazing country it is. So I'm really glad to talk to you this afternoon for 5 minutes about it and my experiences. As a historian, you know, what you see is that nations develop through a historical process. They're not eternal. They don't exist forever. And, you know, Azerbaijan has had a very complex development historically. I think its actual complexity has made it more difficult to develop as a nation, but all for the better, because it's developed into a wonderful nation. It really has had to fuse together a lot of different peoples and a lot of different cultures. It has an old Zoroastrian past, as has been said. Actually, the late great Freddie Mercury was a Zoroastrian, and so that was its heritage. It also has a very old Christian heritage from Caucasian Albanian times, and then the Arab influence gave Azerbaijan its religion, its primary religion, Islam. It has a Safavid Persian influence or South Azerbaijani influences, as is sometimes said. It also has obviously a Turkic influence, which gave it its language. So it has an older style of Turkish, as far as I can gather. And also it has Georgian and Armenian influences, from particularly Georgian in its cuisine and Armenian because of the long presence of Armenians in Azerbaijan's territory. So, you know, it has all these influences. Azerbaijan is also, it's both Asian and European. It's certainly Asian in a lot of its characteristics, and it's European without a doubt. It was the furthest place the Roman legions reached at the time of the Roman Empire. And it's quite apparent in the region that really, if you go west of or east of Vienna, probably Baku is probably the most European city you'll find from there onwards. So it's definitely both Asian and European. It has a great cultural center in Shusha, in Karabakh, and which has really been a great center of music, culture, linguistics, poetry, etc. And that's really been a great benefit to Azerbaijanis. So Azerbaijan, at the end of the day, is a really great fusion of people who have been brought together into a modern nation without regard for ethnicity, religion, and culture. It's been a very successful national project, and it really is a wonderful place. It's a very complex, interesting, and country that is obviously going to make its mark on history much more so in the near future. So, you know, I'd like to thank you all for inviting me, and that's just my thoughts on Azerbaijan. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the festival. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patrick, for sharing your thoughts about Azerbaijan. Now, video presentation about Gasimushagi carpets, which represent Lachin region of Azerbaijan, 17th century.
The culture of the Karabai region of Azerbaijan was concentrated in Shusha by Khan in the early 1750s, and the textiles in the region became acknowledged for their workmanship and great art. The culture of handicraft techniques rapidly developed and expanded into other geographical territories, including knitting and embroidery in both Zangezur and Nakhchivan, and eventually became widespread across Lachin. The population of Lachin focused on livestock rearing, farming, and horticulture, in addition to the development of textiles and other crafts. The name of Lachin became synonymous with the top quality handicrafts of the Karabai region, most notably in relation to the Gasimushagi school of carpets, which are specifically associated with the Gasimushagi and Garachoğlu tribes. Some of the earliest Gasimushagi carpets can be found in the Topkapı Museum in Istanbul, and it is acknowledged that the Lachin region made a significant and invaluable contribution to the furtherance of Azerbaijani culture. The writings of Al-Muqaddasi Masudi, a 10th century Arab historian, bears testament to the fact that Nagorno-Karabakh was known as an artisanal center for over a millennium, particularly focusing on the processing of wool and cotton. The city of Shusha and the villages played a significant role in carpet production. In Lachin, many families were involved in the art of weaving. Families were engaged in such production from the end of summer and throughout autumn and winter. The artistic imagination of family members played a significant role during the weaving process, as colorful carpets featuring intricate design would attract a higher price. When classifying textiles according to color, technological features, and artistic structure, the output of such carpet production centers as Zangezur and Nakhchivan were classified within the Karabai carpet school. From the 17th century, Gasimushagi handicrafts, particularly carpets, became renowned for their quality and craftsmanship. The middle composition of Gasimushagi carpet motifs is different to that of other carpet schools from an artistic perspective and is replete with a multiplicity of complex details. One element features an large central panel surrounded by thick patterned edges of small flowers. On the sides are twisted branches pointing in 4 directions, which are reminiscent of large horns. The carpets are decorated with round, rectangular, hexagonal, octagonal, and geometrical patterns. The carpet designs comprise zoomorphic totemic patterns derived from myths with a relatively simple structure. The zoomorphic patterns in Gasimushagi carpets comprise simplistic mythological beasts, particularly focusing on dragons, realized as line drawings against a white background. The unique dragon illustrations in Gasimushagi carpets were derived from Katai dragon carpets and altered their original shape over the passage of time. Identical patterns are woven in all corners of carpet. The unique S-shaped patterns of Gasimushagi carpets are found in the intermediate area of each corner. The dragon is a symbol of fertility, accommodation, and family, being known as a protector of the tribe. It is also symbolic of the conflict between spirituality and materialism. Furthermore, it was known as a symbol of evil in ancient times, and initial designs were emblazoned on clothing, produced in China and Turkestan. During the 16th and 17th centuries, these illustrations were incorporated on carpets and embroidery from the Gasimushagi school, and included on those from the Tabriz school. The inherent beauty of Gasimushagi carpets led them to be depicted on a set of postage stamps from the Czech Republic in 2010, following an exhibition in Prague.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Firaknaz Musayeva, Head of International Relations and Innovation Department, Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum.
Good day, everyone. Thank you very much for your kind invitation and the opportunity to share brief information about the Azerbaijani carpets and Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum in general. So I would like to start to talk about the importance of carpet art and carpets in Azerbaijan. As is well known, Azerbaijan is unique with its remarkably diverse landscape and climatic zones. All these diversities reflect in traditions' richness, each region's uniqueness, without excluding the unity of the main cultural and historical features peculiar to the country as a whole. And carpet is a symbol of Azerbaijan, its spirit, quintessence of Azerbaijani culture. It accompanied the person from birth to death, playing a key role in his lifestyle, forming the authentic perception of the world. In Azerbaijani culture, carpet is more than just an element of home decoration or part of festivities or ceremonies. Carpet has become a chronicle of many culture spaces, preserving the memory of successive historical eras and styles. The Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum is the first museum in the world of its kind, established in 1967, and today it prevails as Azerbaijan's leading museum. In 2014, within the framework of joint project of the Ministry of Culture of Republic of Azerbaijan, the Heydar Aliyev Foundation, and UNESCO, a unique building for the museum in the territory of Seaside Park, which meets all modern requirements, was completed. This building was designed by Austrian architect Franz Jans, and the museum preserves the richest collection of Azerbaijani carpets. It has become a living and ever-changing educational center for all without exception, including visitors with disabilities. The museum represents the world's most completed collection of Azerbaijani carpets. It shows all carpet-woven regions and most of the compositions typical for each of the 4 types of carpet-woven. These are Guba-Shirvan, Ganja Gazakh, Karabakh, and Tabriz. The building takes the shape of unfolding carpet. The exposition, the permanent exhibition, is arranged in such a way that carpets gradually unfold in front of the viewer. Our national and moral values created throughout history, as well as the museums where those values are preserved, have always been a state concern. Owing to the initiative of the Ministry of Culture, the Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum itself, and support of Mehriban Aliyeva, the first Vice President of Republic of Azerbaijan, the Azerbaijani carpet woven art was included within the UNESCO representative list of intangible cultural heritage in 2010. These resulted from the country's long-term policies of integrating its cultural heritage into the world cultural space. November 16, the date of inclusion of Azerbaijani carpet on the UNESCO representative list, is now celebrated in our country as Azerbaijani Carpet Day. Today, the museum actively pursues the law of Azerbaijan Republic on preservation and development of Azerbaijani carpet woven art, as well as the state program for the preservation and development of carpet art in Azerbaijan for 2018 and 2022. Now, briefly about these programs. The museum oversees the attribution of Azerbaijani carpet stored in foreign museums and private collections, studies them, and compiles catalogs of these marvelous works of art. This also includes major work to acquire valuable and rare artworks from private collection and auctions, return ancient carpets to their historic homeland, and their inclusion within the museum collection. And indeed, this is an important event at the state level and has great cultural and historical significance. I would like to stop from here, but I should add that the Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum, our team considered our carpets as our best ambassadors, and the museum is the best carpet house. I would like to thank you for your invitation once more, and to invite everyone who have never been in Baku before after this pandemic situation to visit us and to see all the beauties of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Firaknaz Hanım, for your informative speech. And now video presentation about the national cuisine of Azerbaijan.
Hospitality and Azerbaijani cuisine. Hospitality, identified as one of the main features of Azerbaijani culture. Azerbaijanis consider it a duty to show infinite respect for a guest. The guest is sacred in Azerbaijan, and the tradition of respect is taken very seriously. Even if an enemy steps into one's house in Azerbaijan, no retribution may be exacted. As a guest, he is untouchable. The great Azerbaijani poet Nizami Ganjavi in 12th century wrote about hospitality of Azerbaijanis in his work Yetti Güzel, The Seven Beauties. She was welcoming as a garden flower. Her smile was the bud of a rose. Her palace was prepared for guests, and it reached to the skies. She laid a table and arranged a celebration. Her servants were raised in grace. For each new arrival, they held his horse's bridle. They laid the table according to rule. They showed him courteous hospitality and dined him according to his rank. There is a wise proverb that have passed from generation to generation. A guest brings prosperity. A hospitable person's table is never empty. A guest decorates one's house. Perhaps the true variety of Azerbaijani cuisine stems from its bread. It's almost the main indication of settlement. One initial comment on our adventure into Azerbaijani cuisine. In Azerbaijani, the names of dishes almost always correspond to different stages, forms, and methods of cooking. The recipe is always encapsulated in the name. This applies to bread. Take lavash, for example. A lavash means bread on fire. In the city of Agdam, in the Karabakh region, there was until recently a bread museum. Its exhibits included petrified grains as ancient as Azerbaijan's sculpture of crop farming. Gurza. Initially, we take minced mutton with cleaned onion, adding salt, pepper, turmeric, and then mix. Knead dough from flour, egg, and water. Unroll dough 1 mm thick layer. Cut into 6 cm diameter rings. Put forcemeat on the middle of circle, leave the edge for a pinch. Connect edges and pinch in figured form. Add gurza dumplings into the boiling salty broth and cook until that time while they come to the surface. Serve in plates by smearing melted butter on them. Serve broth separately by dried mint, vinegar or abgora, pounded garlic, and yogurt. Nowruz is a traditional holiday of Azerbaijan, which celebrates the new year and the coming of spring. Nowruz decoration. Nowruz has been celebrated for at least 3,000 years and is deeply rooted in the traditions of Zoroastrian belief system. The Nowruz festival celebrates the awakening of the natural life. Several things are used to symbolize the occasion. In Azerbaijan, sprouted wheat is a favorite. This is grown in a small vase and placed in a prominent place in the house, such as a table center. The vase with the wheat is called samani. On the last Tuesday before Nowruz, people light bonfires and jump over them, as in similar spring festivities in Europe. Azerbaijanis dye eggs much like Easter eggs. Colored eggs, people tapping against each other. Each person in the family chooses a colored egg, trying to determine which one has the hardest shell, and then they tap their egg against someone else's, trying to crack it. The person whose egg doesn't crack for the longest amount of time is declared the winner. Şeker bura. The name Şeker bura comes from the Turkic word burulmuş şeker, which is translated as twisted sugar. The slightly crescent shape symbolizes the moon. This sweet pastry is filled with ground almonds, hazelnuts or walnuts and sugar. The dough is made of wheat flour, butter, milk, egg yolks, cream and yeast. Baklava. Baklava is a layered pastry dessert made of filo pastry, filled with chopped nuts and sweetened with syrup or honey. Baku baklava is traditionally served at the Nowruz spring holiday, together with şeker bura and gogal, but is also enjoyed throughout the year. Shogogal is a popular, non-sweet, multi-layered bun with a savory, aromatic filling. This pastry, prepared for Nowruz and according to tradition the round, yellow shogogal symbolizes the sun.
Hope you are all good and don't feel hungry after such presentation.
Oh, we are definitely hungry, Leyla. What a feast.
Yeah. Now video presentation about Shusha-Cultural Center of Azerbaijan, and will be presented by Azerbaijanis who live abroad.
Sadik Asadoglu, also known as Mirza Sadik or Sadik Jan, born in 1846, was a well-known tar player in the Caucasus region when he invented the Azerbaijani tar. Sadik was born to a poor family of a watchman in Shusha. As a teenager, he took up vocal lessons but lost his voice at the age of 18. He then took up pipe, kamanche, and eventually tar. By his mid-20s, he was already a well-known tar player in the South Caucasus. During the early 1870s, Sadik used the traditional Persian tar to develop the new version of this instrument, which later became known as Azerbaijani tar. Early tar players held the instrument to their knees, Sadik developed a new manner by reducing the size of the instrument and for the first time presented the play on a tar nestled to the chest. Overall, the Azerbaijani tar has 11 strings and 17 tones. Azerbaijani tar became a symbol of Azerbaijani music in the 20th century.
Mirzoyev, born in 1833 in Shusha, occupies a prominent place in the history of Azerbaijani culture. He is known as a poet, artist, also music historian. Nawab created the first typography in Shusha, which was also the first typography in Azerbaijan. He published the poems of Karabakh poets and spread them among the local population. He also established the first music society called the Society of Singers. Additionally, Nawab was the author of Explanation of the Numbers, a prominent work which offers 82 mughams and songs performed in Karabakh at that time. He also provides information about the origins of these mughams and some rules for their performance. Nawab was also a talented artist. He illustrated his manuscripts with colorful pictures and portraits and designed the interiors of the buildings with various ornaments.
Karabulbul, or we name it as the flower of Karabakh. Have you ever heard about it? It's a beautiful and tender flower that's only grown in Azerbaijan, Karabakh region, especially on the Cllr plain of Shusha district. This endemic flower has a unique and very interesting name. Kara means bee and bulbul means nightingale. So if you look at the flower very closely, you may notice that it bears a strong resemblance to a nightingale sitting on a flower. There are many interesting stories behind it, but the most famous legend is about the eternal love of a nightingale to a flower. While that nightingale tried to protect the flower from a bee, they clashed in the air, and with that pure love and courage, the flower changed into another flower, resembling the nightingale. Karabulbul has always been the symbol of Shusha, Azerbaijan, and represents peace and love. The enchanting patterns of this flower can be found on the handmade carpets of Karabakh region.
Now I'd like to present Baba Abbasov. He is a tar player and student and lives in Poland. Please, Baba, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Leyla. First of all, I would like to say hello for everyone and thank you for very much for your priceless presentation, and also thank you, Ms. Leyla, for inviting me to participate and have a contribution to this amazing presentation. It will be an honor for me to talk a few words about Azerbaijani music. First of all, I would like to say, in general, Azerbaijani music now is very diversified. It starts from the national song, and we have pop music, we have symphony, we have different kind of the classical music. But mainly Azerbaijani national song is divided into two categories. The first one is ashuk art, and the another one is mugham art. The ashuk art, we can say this is our common culture with the from the Turkic inheritance, because this is very similar to another part of the world, like in the Central Asia and the Turkey. because they also have a similar instrument. Why? Because Ashur art is played in general with a music instrument called saz. It's a little different from the music instrument that I'm playing. And in general, when people play on saz, they recite poems or they sing. Another part is mugam. So mugam, I will say, is our common culture inheritance with the all Eastern countries, especially in the Islamic world. But in general, it's very developed in Azerbaijan. And how about tar? Tar is one of the part of the mugam music tradition. And in general, nowadays, there are two kinds of tars in the world. One is Persian tar, which is called Shirazi tar, and another one is Azerbaijani tar, which were developed by Mirzoyev, which mentioned on the video as well. We have huge, large extent of the sharing culture with Iran. So till some period of time, we have the same music instrument, but after Mirzoyev developed and advanced the Azerbaijani tar, we have different kind of tar. And nowadays, I will say the uniqueness of our Azerbaijani tar is that it's universal. It means that we can play it on every kind of music. For example, if you enter to my own YouTube channel, you will see that actually I play not only national songs, but also in the foreign songs, because Azerbaijani tar is very unique. And nowadays, it's used not only in national part of the music in Azerbaijan and all like kind of music. And the other specialty of tar, actually, we can say that is actually our musical identity. Why? Because it's adored almost by all generation in Azerbaijan. And I also experienced how the people react in the foreign countries, in the international community would react to tar. And I will say, like specifically in Poland, I have very good experience about that, because people really like this instrument, how it sounds. In general, I will tell about the parts of tar. This is my own tar. And in general, part is divided on the three main parts. The first one is its main body. And the second one is neck, and then the tuner part. In general, the craftsmen, they choose different kind of woods in crafting procedure, but in most cases, they always prefer to prepare the main body from the mulberry wood, the neck from nuts, and the other part different, like the tuner part from the different woods. And I will say also one thing. In 2020, the tar crafted and performed in Azerbaijan added to the cultural inheritance of UNESCO. And as I said, Azerbaijani tar nowadays is used almost in all genres of Azerbaijani music. Nowadays, different musicians make different kind of like improvisations, and the synthesis is modern music. So I will say that this is our proud. We're really proud with this instrument. And as I said, I will say it's our national musical identity. Now I will thank you for the time, dedicating time for my speech, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Baba, for your informative speech and presentation. And now I would like to give a floor to Rufat Hasanov, Film Director, Head of Cinema Department at the Ministry of Culture of Azerbaijan. Okay, Rufat, are you here?
Leyla, I can't see them on the panelists.
Okay, then we can play violin performance. Now I'm pleased to present a young panelist, Janel Najafli, who performs this piece of art today. She has been recognized as a Person of the Year 2020 in Czech Republic. Please, Janel.
Hello, my name is Janel Najafli, and I am a second-year student at the Pilsen Conservatoire in the Czech Republic, in addition to the Baku Music Academy. I've already been studying the violin for 13 years. I've performed in many countries at various events, and today I'm honored to perform in this wonderful online event. The composition called Alamuram by one of the greatest composers of Azerbaijan, Asef Zeynallı, who lived from 1909 to 1932. He lived for only 22 years, and within his short life and few productive years, he composed many great, unforgettable pieces that he left as a treasure chest of succeeding generations. It is acknowledged that Mugam originated in the Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, the cradle of Azerbaijani culture, which was liberated from occupation last year, and I dedicate this piece to the memory of the martyrs and to their grieving families. Hope you enjoyed hearing this piece, where through the miracles of multi-tracking, I accompany myself on the piano. I would like to express my grateful thanks to the organizers of MACFEST for this invitation and the opportunity to perform and demonstrate this example of the distinguished culture of Azerbaijan to an international audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Janel, for your great performance. And now, view of Kazakh region from Azerbaijan.
Welcome to the Gazakh region of Azerbaijan. This is a place where world-famous people live. Gazakh is one of the oldest and most beautiful cities in the world. You will fall in love with its history, culture, and cuisine. The Gazakh district was established on August 8, 1930. We are having a trip to History Ethnography Museum to learn what Gazakh was like in ancient times. There are 112 cultural and architectural monuments in Gazakh. 3 of them are globally important and are included in UNESCO's Tangible Cultural Heritage List. The first of them is the section belonging to Damjali Cave Camp, which is exhibited in the ancient Stone Age section of the museum. Samples of tangible culture that were found in Damjali are exhibited in this section. Various tangible cultural samples about the activities, lifestyles, and belief of our ancestors were found. Men's rifles, swords, and daggers were hung on the wall. It was used as a decorative accessory. It's an example of our national chest. This gramophone was used towards the end of the 18th century. We had national household items, thrones, chests, and others. What about getting to know one of the famous people of Gazakh? He is recognized in some countries around the world, including England. That person is Samet Vurgun, Azerbaijani poet, playwright, the first people's poet of Azerbaijan. The poet traveled to London in 1947 with prominent literary and cultural figures. There are statues of him in Gazakh and other parts of Azerbaijan. Now, what about a trip to Goyazan mountain? One of the must-see places in Gazakh, Goyazan, an extrusive dome in the foothills of the Lesser Caucasus. It was formed on the site of an erupting volcano during the Cretaceous. Its height is 250 meters and its diameter is more than 130 meters. It looks like a magnificent column buried in the plain. It's located in the Gazakh region of Azerbaijan. It's beautiful, isn't it? There is a special dish in Gazakh. It's called hingal. It's one of the most delicious food eaten by people, especially in winter. Don't forget to taste hingal when you come here. That's all.
Now video presentation, Ruslan Ibrahimli, who wants to pass his wishes. Please play his video.
Hello everyone, my name is Ruslan Ibrahimli. I live in Gazakh of Azerbaijan. I am a filmmaker. Gazakh is a very beautiful place to visit. There are many places that we couldn't film to show due to the limited time. I wouldn't take your time, and I want to say my gratefulness and wish good luck to everyone who watches us today.
Thank you, Ruslan Ibrahimli, for your commitment to organizing this event, for your filming. And now I want to pass floor to Ayaz Karimov from University of Tartu. Ayaz, are you here?
Yes, I am here. So my name is Ayaz, and first of all, I would like to convey my thankfulness to Leyla and the organizer of this festival, and why I am here. So let's start from this. So I am from Gazakh. Actually, I was born and grown up there. And I just made one presentation. And while making this presentation, I was just trying to put some points or the places that actually maybe they are not that much famous even in our history books. So I just made like the few points about Gazakh. So basically, I would like to start with actually we mainly talked about the Gazakh, but actually there is one city that actually I used to live. It's called like the Akhstafa, and this region, the Akhstafa, was part of the Gazakh. So that's why today I will be showing some historical places from Akhstafa as well. And basically, I just want to show the two monasteries mainly. The first one is from Gazakh, which is called like Away Monastery. Actually, that's the place that actually in the previous video it was mentioned that actually there is a cave called like the Damjali, and it's accepted one of the first places that actually people start to live in Azerbaijan. And this Damjali cave is a part of these Away mountains, and this monastery is located exactly in those mountains. It was founded in the 5th century, and it's monastery. So it means that actually it includes the two churches, castle walls, and the some worship rooms as well. And now, if you want to go to the Away Monastery, now it's quite open to visit currently. And it's the Away Monastery is located with the borderland in the borderland with Armenia. And that's the second place that actually I want to talk. It's called like the Keshikzadagh Monastery complex. Basically, how it is also located in the borderland, but it is the borderland with the Georgia, and it is located in Akhstafa, the regions that actually I mentioned previously. And it was founded in the 6th century. And I don't want to like the name all the places. Actually, it includes entire the monastery, but they are the main places. And why I put this, like in addition to mentioning some historical monuments, I also wanted to mention the place that actually, which was the reason that the people start to live in the Gazakh and the Astafa. So this place, it is basically now it is the water reservoir, but it used to be the river. So that was the first reason that actually the people start to live in Gazakh, and they just moved from the mountains, and it is considered one of the first the places. The second one is it is also popular, maybe it's not mentioned in our history books again, or maybe in the geography ones, but this place is it is called like the burning water, and that's also one of the first places actually the first people start to live in Astafa. And it's also is for some people it's also it's believed that actually it's a sacred place. And I just put this map here, and if it is possible we can also share this map. In this map actually you can find all the places that you can visit in our, let's say, tiny small region. Thanks again. So I will just stop the sharing. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ayaz, for your presentation. And now I would like to welcome our honorable guest, Professor Tahir Amraslanov, Chef President of the National Culinary Association in Azerbaijan.
Siz Azərbaycanca'dan yoxsa Rusçadan yaxşıdır? İkisini də hansı dildə istəyirsiniz? İkisini də istəyirsiniz? İki danışın, problem. Hörmətli xanımlar və bəylər, sizi salamlayıram Azərbaycandan.
Our dear guest welcomes all our esteemed counterparts and guests from Azerbaijan.
Bildiyiniz kimi mədəniyyətin ən konservativ hissəsi mətbəxdir.
As you already might know, the cuisine is the most conservative part of the culture of the state.
Mədəniyyəti də mətbəx formalaşdırır əslində.
And culture is also it's been formed because of the cuisine.
Ona görə də mən qazandan dünyaya baxan bir adam kimi öz fikirlərimi qazandan açıqlayacağam.
I'm going to express all my thinkings from the pot.
Siz inşallah bu Covid qutarandan sonra Azərbaycana gələndə dünyanın ən qədim, ən maraqlı mətbəxi ilə tanış ola biləcəksiniz.
We are waiting and inviting you here into Azerbaijan after the COVID comes to an end, in order to make you be acquainted with one of the ancient and rich cuisines of the world.
Bizim bu aşpazlar bilirlər ki, bir 300-400 ildir belə bir heyvanın ətinin hissələrə bölünməsi bir rəsmi var. Heyvanın hansı hissəsindən hansı xörək hazırlanacaq, ətin hansı hissəsi hansı xörəyə gedir deyə belə bir rəsmdən istifadə edirik.
There is a very interesting painting made some 300 or 400 years ago, and there is some lamb maybe, and that lamb is divided into various parts, and they pointed which part of that lamb is much more better for preparing some certain item of cuisine.
Filmdə sizə göstərdilər, çoxları bilmir ki, bu ət bölgüsünün Azərbaycanda Qobustan qayalarında hiss olunub və 12.000-40.000 il yaşı var.
That actually is a petroglyph made in Qobustan. It was carved there some beginning from 12 to 40,000 years ago by primitive people. Actually, that's the place where primitive people lived and where the primitive society of Azerbaijan was formed.
Bu onu göstərir ki, artıq o dövrdə burada yaşayan ahali hansı ətin, heyvanın hansı hissəsindən hansı xörəyin pişirilməsini bilirdi və insanları buna öyrətmək üçün o rəsmləri çoxlu çəkmişdilər və burada artıq deməli aşpazlıq məktəbi var idi.
Our dear professor says that already at that time, some 40,000 years ago, people who lived in cobblestone, where those petroglyphs were carved, already knew which part of that land, maybe some animal, is much more better and the most tasty part of that animal. And also they wanted the rest of the people know this too.
Azərbaycanda Şəki rayonunda dünyanın ən qədim samavarı tapıldı qazıntılar zamanı və bu samavarın 3700 il yaşı var. Müqayisə üçün Misir samavarının 2000 il, Çin samavarı Xogunun 1200 yaşı var və Rus samavarının 300 il yaşı var. Azərbaycanda tapılan samavarın 3700 il yaşı var.
During archaeological excavations in Shaki district of Azerbaijan, there was found achieved actually so-named samovar, tea urn. And according to information, according to historical researchers of our local archaeologists, it has got the age of 3,000, approximately 3,700 years. In comparison, Egyptian tea urn is at the age of 2,000, Chinese 1,200, and what about Russian samovar, the same tea urn, it's 300 years age.
Bugün də bu samavarlarda eyni ilə həmin samavarlara orada gildən idi, indi biraz metaldan hazırlanmış samavarlarda Bakıda xandan restoranında çorbalar pişirilir.
In such kind of pots, samovars made of glue, soups are being prepared in our local restaurants in such kind of pot samovars.
İsmailiyə gələrkən siz inşallah oradakı muzeydə dünyanın ən qədim kərə yağını 2300 il yaşı olan kərə yağını görə bilərsiniz. İsmailidə. Sadece milk.
Our dear Professor esteemed guest is inviting you also into Ismaili district of our country. It's a very picturesque place in our northern part of our country. And there is the museum where you will be able to see, to enjoy foods prepared of milk butter.
Yes. Biz biraz Qəbəliyə get.
Old is one of the oldest.
Dünyanın qədim. 2300 il yaşı var. Dediniz mi?
Bir dəqiqə. It's the oldest in the whole world. The age approaches to already 2,300 years.
Qəbəliyə gəlsəniz, Qəbələdə bizim eranın 7-ci əsrinə aid dünyanın ən qədim damıtma aparatı, yəni distilyasiya yoluyla spirtin alınması üçün kildən aparatlar Qəbələdə muzeydə saxlanılır.
In another region, Kabala, there is some aparat diye.
Aparat da samavar aparatı diye. Damıtma, distilyasiya yolundan spirt alınması üçün aparat. Distilyasiya. Method, yes.
There is a very interesting thing. Let's call that apparat, where you will be able to see how the alcoholic spirit was going to be prepared. It's in Kabala region of our country, and the age goes back to 7th century AD, Anno Domini.
Tovuzda Göytepe ərazisində qazıntılar zamanı 8000 il bundan öncəyə aid olan deməli paxlalı bitkilər, lobya, fasol, paxlalı bitkilər, sonra dənli bitkilər, o cümlədən buğda tapılıbdır və üzüm dənələri var. Deyim bunları.
Granat.
Niye granat?
Pomegranat.
Не onun pomegranat.
Vinograt geliyor.
Vinogratda üzüm dənələri.
Grapes. In our Tovuz region, the place is known as Göytepe. During archaeological excavations were found aparatlar aşağı edilmiştir.
Paxlalı bitkilər, bir də dənli bitkilər, bir də üzüm dənələri
aşağılanmış. the seeds of grape, also fossils and crops were achieved. That they do refer to the period of 8,000 years ago. It's Tovuz region of our country. It's far north-western part of our country. Place is known as Göytepe Hill.
Göytepe'den yine de ev heyvanlarının, artık mədəni heyvanların sümükləri tapılıb. Burada domuz sümükləri var. O, deməli, Tovuzda Göytepe'den yerdə.
This is the very place where the skeletons of domesticated animals were found. We do mean fork.
Deməli, çift boynuzlu heyvanlar, yəni qoyun, keçi filan.
Lambs, let's say them lambs, goats.
İri boynuzlu heyvanlar.
Also,
öküz heyvan, inek.
And the rest, bigger ones.
Bundan başqa quş sümükləri var, mədəni quşların sümükləri.
Also the relics of birds were found there.
Bu onu göstərir ki, artıq o dövrdə böyük əkinçilik və heyvandarlıq mədəniyyəti olur.
It shows that already at that time in Azerbaijan, agricultural and cattle breeding were widely spread and developed by local people of those times.
Mən bir şeyi də diqqətinizə çatdırım ki, qabaqlar antropoloqlar deyirdilər. İndi genetik analizlər erməni alimlərinin iştirakı ilə o cümlədən də Ermənistan ərazisində, İran ərazisində və buradan götürmüş sünüklərin genetik analizi göstərir ki, 2 türk qapla qrupasına aiddir. Bu 5000-6000 il bundan qabaq yaşayanların sünükləridir.
According to anthropological and genetical analysis, all this shows that they do refer to 2 Turkic Gapla grupas.
Bu onu deyir ki, burada yaşayan Türk əhalisi artıq 5-6 min bundan qabaq böyük əkinçilik, böyük maldarlıq mədəniyyətinə malik idi və bu mətbəx üçün böyük baza yaradırdı və burada artıq böyük bir mətbəx yaranmışdı.
I have to inform you that Azerbaijani people do refer in general predominantly to Turkic, but have got Turkic background, and all these researchers and archaeological excavations do show that already 5,000-6,000 years ago agricultural and cattle breeding basis was founded during those time, some 5,000-6,000 years ago.
Azərbaycan mətbəxi 5 əsas bazanın üstündə durur.
Azerbaijan's cuisine is founded on 5 main bases.
Dövlət olduğu üçün burada saray mətbəxi və bizdə saray aşpazlarının 12-ci əsrdən bəri olan kitabları toplanıb məndə. Bizim kitabxanada 12-ci əsrdən. 12. Saray mətbəxlərində, məsələn, hətta Sultan Muradın aşpazı Azərbaycanlı idi 15-ci əsrdə. Şah İsmayil Xatayının aşpazının bizdə kitabı var, Şah Abbasın aşpazının kitabı var. Yəni bu əsl aşpazlıq məktəbi, yüksək mətbəx saraylarda formalaşırdı. Bizdə də dövlət olduğu üçün saray mətbəxi olub.
Actually, there was the Safavid state in Azerbaijan founded in 16th century, and there also was Osman Sultan, the ruler of that state, Sultan Murad, and another Safavid ruler, Shah Abbas. They had, of course, Shah Ismail, the founder of Safavid state and dynasty, and they also had got palace cuisiners, and they who did write books devoted and dedicated to this sphere of their activity.
Bugün əlimizdə Qacar xanədanlığının da İranın keçmiş adı xanədanı Qacar idi və bu xanədanda yaşayan xanların da Qacar xanların da aşpazlarının kitabları var.
In 1747, in 1795, Aga Muhammad Shah Qajar came into power in Iran, and their dynasty ruled in until 1925. Till they were overthrown there by another local dynasty, Pahlavids, and also Aga Muhammad Shah Qajar had his own local cuisine. He also did write book dedicated to the sphere.
Bizdə İrəvan xanı da, Bakı xanı da, Gəncə xanı da, Şəki xanı da, hamısı Qacarlar idi. Yəni bir sülalə idi. Əvvəllər Səfəvilər, sonra Qacarlar idi.
Also, the representatives of Qajar dynasty ruled in our local khanates that emerged after 1747 when Nadir Shah Akshar had been killed.
İkinci mətbəxin ikinci bazası ordu mətbəxidir. Bu da yazılı mətbəxdir. Orada verilən yeməklər yazıda var idi və bunlar bugün ordu mətbəxi, hərbi mətbəxi. Çünki dövlətin ordusu var idi, ordunun da mətbəxi yoxsa əskəri izlənməli.
Also at our full disposal we have got books dedicated to the cuisine that provided in army too.
Üçüncü mətbəx hissəsi mənəvi mətbəx idi. Məsələn, xristianlarda bu kilsə mətbəxidir, mətbəxidir, rahiblərin mətbəxidir.
Nə yemək olar olmaz.
Bizdə isə sufi mətbəxi formalaşmışdı. Bu İslamın sufi spiritikizm, sufi mətbəxi idi və insanın təfəkkürünü psixofioloji vəziyyətini dəyişmək və mağaraya gedəndə olan yeməklər, bunlar sufi mətbəxindən qalan yeməklərdir. Siz bilirsiniz ki, Mövlana Cəlaləddin Rumi mətbəxi öyrənməmiş, aşpaz olmamış adamı özünə şagird götürmürdü, sufi götürmürdü. Bunların səbəbləri var. Və bu bizim mənəvi mətbəximizin hissəsidir.
The third type of cuisine is so-named spiritual Sufi cuisine, and our esteemed guest has already given a very interesting information, important information, saying that there was a very prominent poet, Jalaluddin Rumi, who refused and rejected to take as his own personal pupil the people who had not learned the cuisine.
Mətbəxin dördüncü hissəsi satış üçün olan mətbəxdir. Yəni, kərvansaray, duxanlar, traktorlar, restoranlar, bunlarda satış üçün olan mətbəxdir. Bunların da haqqında bəzi yazılı mənbələr qalmaqdadır.
The fourth part is so-named cuisine for sale that was provided in hotels, so-named caravansarais, the places for rest of mercenary class of the population. That were provided in caravansarais and such kind of other places.
Beşinci mətbəx hissəsi bu yazıda olmayan, ailələrin, nəsillərin mətbəxidir, dildən dilə ötürülürdü. Bunlar yazıda yoxdur əlbəttə ki.
The fifth part of the cuisine was not found in scriptures. It was inherited and passed from one generation to another generation orally. In the frameworks of one family.
Biz bunların hamısını toplayırıq, bir yerdə üzərində işləyirik və mənim 30-dan çox kitabım çıxıb. İndi Gastrosofiya kitabı bu ay çapdan çıxacaq aprelin sonunda.
Our dear esteemed professor says that their group collects and combines all this 4, even 5 types of cuisines. And he is the author of approximately and even more than 30 books, and one more book is going to be printed forthcoming days.
Azərbaycan mətbəxindən biz 4000 yemək toplamışıq, resept hələlik.
They have already collected for the information about 4,000 meals in Azerbaijani local cuisine.
Və bunun 2500'ü artıq çap olunub.
And the information of 2,500 of them is already given in typed book form.
Biz ilk dəfə dünyada mətbəx rəqslərini qoyduq. Mətbəx və musiqinin bağlılığına, mətbəx incəsətin bağlı və s. tərəfləri mətbəx və din, mətbəx və psixologiya və s. araşdırdıq, sosiologiya ortaya qoyduq. Təəssüf ki, vaxtımız çox deyil, mən çox danışa bilərdim. Siz Azərbaycana gəlincə Azərbaycan mətbəxinin əsas fəlsəfəsi qonaq. Və hər şey qonaq üçün. Siz gəlincə bir möcüzəyə düşəcəksiniz. Mən sizi gözləyirəm burada. Gəlin qonağımız olun.
Our dear guest professor says that they have already prepared a very interesting film deyə bilərəm. Film kimi hazırlansın. Siz onları.
Yox. Mətbəx rəqsləri qoyulub.
Dancing connected with cuisine and also connected with psychology, sociology, and religion. And our dear guest says that in our country, the main idea of the philosophy of cuisine is the guest by himself. everything, all best part of the food is prepared for guests, and he's inviting you to Azerbaijan, where you will be able to touch this miracle. I am waiting for you here in Azerbaijan. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Tyrone, for such a meaningful presentation. Now I would like to give the floor to Rufat Asanov, film director, head of cinema department at the Ministry of Culture of Azerbaijan. Please, Rufat.
Hi, it's such a pleasure, honor, and privilege to be present and for this. I want to thank you for this opportunity to talk a little bit about the film industry in Azerbaijan. I want to try to shake things up. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Just go ahead and tell you a little bit about the development of the film industry throughout the past 5 to 7 years. So. In 2013, there has been a rapid emergence of young Azerbaijani talent. And we've had young filmmakers who not only participated in rather big film festivals like Cannes and Venice and Locarno and Busan and what's not, but also awarded at these film festivals. And it's really interesting to see this change, because obviously after the collapse of the Soviet Union, there has been sort of like a short period of stagnation, especially in the film industry, and it required some time for this talent to emerge. And so, for example, just throughout the past 2 years, we've had films by local filmmakers. In 2019, Elmar Imanov, I'm going to try to send you all the information regarding these filmmakers by the end of this short speech of mine. Elmar Imanov, his full feature debut called End of the Season was awarded in Rotterdam Film Festival. It received the rather serious FRSA award, and it's the award of film critics, international film critics. Last year, we had Hilal Baydarov in Venice main competition, and he also won the grand prize of the Tokyo Film Festival. I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit narcissistic here, because I'm not only the head of the cinema department, but also a filmmaker. Last year, the film that we made called The Island Within was awarded with the Best Director Award in Sarajevo Film Festival. And we had Teymur Hajiev's film, short film, Towards Evening, showcased in Cannes Film Festival's side program called Critics Week. So long story short, I'm going to try to thank you very much. Long story short, I want to give you a little bit of information of what we are trying to do now, like some of our projects. One of the projects that we're intensively working on is called Film Commission. Some of you may be aware of what a Film Commission is. It is basically a structure that allows foreign productions to shoot in Azerbaijan. And considering that we have 9 11 climate zones and very beautiful landscapes, forests and mountains and the Caspian Sea, obviously, and rivers. So just like, for example, Ireland is very famous for hosting a lot of big international productions, as well as like New Zealand with, and Morocco, like Game of Thrones and all the big international productions. They use these countries' locations. We're trying to attract big productions to shoot audiovisual their audiovisual content, whether films or TV series or commercials in Azerbaijan. And recently, especially considering the fact that that a lot of the locations and the beautiful landscapes are located in Karabakh and my home city of Shusha, we are very looking forward to this potential collaboration with big international productions. We've had a very fruitful mini conference with Netflix recently. So this is basically the some of the projects that we're working on. I don't want to take up too much of your time, considering that I have that I had, I think, around 5 minutes for my presentation. So sorry about the technical issues with the sound. I will send the links to all those films and information about the filmmakers as soon as I finish the speech, which is right now. So thanks again for your time. If there are any questions that that I could answer, I would gladly do so.
Thank you, Rufat, for your speech and for joining us. Now I would like to welcome Barbara Dresner, and who is a team member, MACFEST team member, and Qaisra Shahraz, founder, executive director of MACFEST.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Lovely. Well, this is me sitting in Manchester, England, and having experienced my third MACFEST, and I'm just blown away by all that you've taught to me about Azerbaijan. It's been delightful, and I've enjoyed it so much. I'm going to watch the recorded version on our website so that I haven't missed anything. Now, what I'm here for is I'm very honoured to be thanking you all for what you've given us on this wonderful day. And it is our first event like this from a whole country, showing us so many aspects. And I would very much like to thank you, Leyla Gasimova, for all you have done in organising this as the project manager, along with your colleague, Hokuma Mammadazada. It's been absolutely brilliant, and thank you so much. I would also like to thank, from Birmingham, Jonathan Davidson, who has also contributed and said how much he's looking forward to this, and I'm sure he's enjoyed it so much too. And also from the United States, Professor Akbar Ahmed, who has already thrilled us magnificently in his opening speech for this festival and his good words again today. Thank you so very much. We've also seen Dr. Ravan Hasanov and from Baku, and again, words can't really tell you how interesting I have found what he said. And the same goes for Sajjad Karim, a former member of the European Parliament, who gave us some profound thoughts on the current situation. Many thanks to you. There was also Farid Mirzoyev, and please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing, but this is all coming from the heart, just remember. Thank you so much for your artistic contribution. And of course, our dear Mike Shaft, who's a broadcaster here in Manchester, where I'm speaking from. Thank you so much. And Karim Sultanov, who is a historian, and I've just realized how much history I need to look up now. Then we also had Yasha Guluzadeh and the wonderful film and the information about the horses. And I love horses, I must say, and that was wonderful to watch. We also had Dr. Patrick Walsh, another historian, who gave us some very interesting information from Northern Ireland. And we had Firanaz Musiema on the subject of the carpets, beautiful, beautiful carpets. And we thank you for that. And we had Professor Takir Amirazlanov, who contributed on the delicious looking cuisine, which I can't wait to taste when I come to visit you, which I will, I promise you. Then we also had beautiful music, just a little bit. I would have liked more on the tar from Baba Abbasov, and I'm hoping we're going to have more of that some stage. And Rufat Hasanov, the film director, who also had much to tell us, and we could hear more. Jame Nazafli, beautiful violin music. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much. And we had a Ruslan Ibrahimli, also a filmmaker. We're very lucky to have you all speaking to us here. And we had Ayaz Karimov from the University of Tartu. And my heartfelt thanks for all your wonderful contributions. And before I go, I must not forget the MACFEST team who've done everything in the background and enabled this to happen with your wonderful technical people over there in Azerbaijan as well. So my deep admiration and respect for all that you've done. And I'm going to pass you over now to our very esteemed executive director of MACFEST, our Qaisra Shahraz, MBE. And thanks to her, we are speaking to each other today. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. What can I say? Barbara has said it all and thanked everybody beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, we promised you an enthralling journey to Azerbaijan, and we did. I'm sure you will agree, absolutely. Thank you again to Professor Akbar, to Jonathan, to Sajjad, and Mike from the UK, and Akbar Ahmed from the USA. My heartfelt thanks go to Leyla, Hokuma, the project manager, the directors for putting it together, and of course the whole of the Baku team. There are a lot of people behind the scene. We know that they're not there today, but they are there. Heartfelt thanks to all the contributors who Barbara has beautifully mentioned and personalized it with their contributed. And what you have all done is we are pining for Azerbaijan. We are all on our way to Azerbaijan, and I'm sure we'll get a heartwarm welcome. You know, we are so enriched by it, truly, in every way, with the beauty and the richness of Azerbaijani cultural heritage. And you have offered us the whole world, basically, in these 3 hours of everything that you can think about, that you could have covered, which has been a rich feast. This amazing festival has provided us with an excellent template for future international MACFEST festivals in other countries. And you know what? You have set a very high standard indeed. It will be a hard thing to match after this, I'm afraid. So from the bottom of my heart, again, I sincerely thank you for making my personal dream come true of an international MACFEST. Without you people, it would not have happened. And it's exactly what I had envisaged. So thank you for making our dream come true. Thank you to you all, again, I say. And Leyla, I really believed in you, and you with your team, you have indeed delivered, and with flying colors. So many, many congratulations. Be proud, everybody there who have done an amazing event for us. So well done to all of you. Also, I want to give a special thank you to your sponsor, HSAD. Without them, you might not have been able to cover those costs. So thank you so much for sponsoring Azerbaijan Festival. We appreciate what you've done. Sponsors are very important for us. Finally, thank you to all our attendees, our friends, our family members, our colleagues, our team members, and of course, our new attendees who have joined us today for a long session, 3 hours of it on a Sunday Easter. So we're really proud of you and glad that you have done this, but I hope you have thoroughly enjoyed it. And please do stay with us. We're not ending the festival as yet, although we have today. Please join us in 3 weeks' time. Luke will now show you a poster when we will celebrate the month of Ramadan. And guess where we're taking you next? So from Azerbaijan, we go to Africa, in Morocco, to celebrate Moroccan cultural heritage. So goodbye from us, from Manchester, and goodbye, I suppose, from Baku. Leyla, you want to say goodbye as well? And assalamu alaikum.
Yes, please, yeah.
Okay, Jonathan, you were there for a moment ago. Everybody, if you want to say goodbye, you're welcome to say goodbye.
I want to also express my gratefulness for everyone for being us today, for watching us, and to all panelists for taking part and for making meaningful presentations. And at the end, I want to highlight one thing. Please always remember that our common values bring us together and our differences make us to respect each other. Please promote tolerance and respect.
I couldn't agree more, Leyla. Well done.
You are all welcome to Azerbaijan.
Okay. Thank you once again, everybody, and goodbye wherever you are. And assalamu alaikum.